everybody, Eric again. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Let's read about Mandatory Fun. Mandatory Fun is the 14th and final studio album by the American parody musician Weird Al Yankovic. The self-produced album was released by RCA Records in the United States on July 15, 2014. Yankovic had previously released Apocalypse in 2011 and was touring in support of it when he first spoke of his next out record. When he began to work on Mandatory Fun, Yankovic found himself listening to older acts, many of which he stylistically spoofed on the album. Recorded at studios in Los Angeles and Massachusetts from 2012 to 2014, Mandatory Fun contains 12 songs, which include parodies of songs by Pharrell Williams, Robin Thicke, Iggy Azalea, Lorde, and Imagine Dragons. It also features original songs in the form of pastiche, imitating the styles of the Pixies, Cat Stevens, Foo Fighters, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and Southern culture on the Skids. Yankovic composed the originals first and wrote the parodies last to allow them to be as timely as possible upon the album's release. Many artists reacted positively to being parodied. Williams remarked that he was honored to be spoofed by Yankovic, while Imagine Dragons advised Yankovic on how to replicate sounds in their original song. After Yankovic's 32 years under contract, Mandatory Fun marks his first, and as of March 2026, only #1 album in the United States. It received positive reviews from contemporary music critics. Yankovic chose not to release a lead single, and instead publicized the album by launching 8 music videos online during the first week of the album release through different video content portals. Among these, Word Crimes became Yankovic's 4th top 40 song, making him one of few artists to achieve such a feat in 4 separate decades. The album won the award for Best Comedy Album at the 57th Annual Grammy Awards, Yankovic's 4th career Grammy, and he embarked on the Mandatory World Tour during 2015 and 2016, following the completion of his record contract obligations and the success of the video strategy. Yankovic has avoided releasing any further studio albums, preferring the more timely releases of singles and EPs of his songs. Background. During the closing stages of the Apocalypse tour, Yankovic stated in an interview with The Morning Call that he had one more album on its contract. The paper and other sources took to mean that this album would be his last. Yankovic later clarified that this was the last album on the current recording contract with his label, that he is currently weighing his options for renewing the contract or looking to another publisher, or made it clear that he was not retiring from music in the foreseeable future. In a later interview with NPR's Weekend Edition, he stated that this might be his last conventional album, turning instead to more frequent releases of singles and EPs. For an LP, Yankovic stated that given the time lapse between the beginning of the process and the release of the finished product, chances are a lot of the material is going to be somewhat dated by the time it comes out. The first tracks conceived for the album were original songs in the style of various bands, as compared to direct parodies. The pastiches aged better prior to composing these songs. Yankovic had been listening to older acts such as Cat Stevens, Foo Fighters, and Southern culture on the Skids for his own amusement. His Crosby, Stills and Nash style parody, Mission Statement, draws from his experiences attending executive meetings in his music career. Shortly after completing the song, Yankovic encountered Graham Nash, who condescendingly asked Yankovic to parody Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. Yankovic played a recording of his pastiche on his phone to Nash on the spot, and Nash loved the track. First World Problems is an original composition emulating the style of the Pixies, whom Yankovic had performed alongside for a charity concert 2 years earlier. The song features background vocals by Amanda Palmer, emulating the vocal style of Kim Deal, particularly from the song "The Bazzer." Palmer, who cites Lankovic and the Pixies as being among her childhood heroes, explained on her personal website that she and Lankovic had met at one of her concerts in Los Angeles a few years previously. After Lankovic learned that his fans had petitioned for him to headline a Super Bowl halftime show, he realized that he lacked a sports-themed composition in his repertoire and decided to write sports songs. Lankovic described that his usual method of generating parody ideas is to scan Billboard charts, radio play, and online buzz to create a mastered list of candidates. From that point, he works out possible puns on the song titles, the potential for humor, and general direction for his versions. Fans speculated ahead of the album's release that Lankovic would parody Let It Go from the Disney film Frozen. Due to the song's popularity, he considered making a Frozen parody titled Make It So, about Star Trek The Next Generation, but decided not to after discovering such a parody already existed. Lankovic observed that the existing spoof had gotten enough attention online to make the Disney legal department ask them to take it down. I couldn't think of an idea that I liked as much as Make It so I gave it up. There were several other songs he intended to parody, but felt he was unable to develop a clever enough idea for, and instead used them in the medley. Now that's what I call polka. More specifically, Lankovic expressed that, wow, Daft Punk's Get Lucky and an iconic song it was too repetitive for him to incorporate new lyrics into effectively. Recording. 12 songs were recorded for mandatory fun. Most of the sessions took place at Way Station, Go David Go Studio, and Bedrock LA in Los Angeles. Lankovic pre-recorded demos of each song on his personal laptop prior to recording to show his bandmates the direction to go in. The earliest songs produced were Mission Statement, Lame Claim to Fame, and My Own Eyes, which were recorded on September 4th, 2012. 3 more songs were recorded later. Sports Song on May 3rd, followed by First World Problems, and Jackson Park Express on May 8th, 2013. Lankovic announced Amanda Palmer's involvement in the album later that month. Her background vocal sessions for First World Problems took place at Mad Oak Studios in Allston, Massachusetts, as she was unable to travel to LA at the time. Lankovic coached Palmer remotely via Skype as she attempted to emulate the vocal style of Kim Deal. Lankovic sought permission from the original artists for his parodies, as he had typically done in the past. In contrast to previous albums, he had few difficulties. Lankovic stated, "This is the first time where I've gotten everybody that I wanted, and I couldn't be happier about it. I was able to get Pharrell Williams' permission for 3 of the songs he represented on the album. Williams Happy, Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines, and Get Lucky." Through a personal email to the artist after Lankovic's manager had difficulty working with Williams' manager. According to Lankovic, Williams was honored to have his work used by Lankovic. Lankovic and his band got full cooperation from Imagine Dragons, who gave permission and advice on how to recreate some of the sounds used in Radioactive for Lankovic's Send Up Inactive. When Lankovic decided to parody Blurred Lines, he was initially concerned that by the time his version was released a year later, many parodies would already exist. He therefore opted to go in a more distinct direction by making World Crimes, which continues his fascination with grammar previously expressed in video set pieces where he corrected malformed public signage and text. Lankovic said that his version avoids the perceived misogyny of the original song and its various existing parodies. He also considered this the only chance that Blurred Lines will be used in the curriculum of somebody's school. World Crimes, Inactive, and Foil were all recorded in December 2013, while Tacky and Now, That's What I Call Polka, were produced the following April. Lisa Papel also revealed in April that she would be recording with Lankovic for the album. Comedian Patton Oswalt, who appears in the video for Foil, listened to Lankovic's album in May 2014 and revealed that he satirizes a band I've worshipped since the 90s. Lankovic later affirmed that Oswalt was referring to his Pixies pastiche. 11 tracks have been completed by early 2014, and Lankovic set the release date in the middle of the year, as to keep the material as timely as possible. However, he wished to find the big hit of the summer to add to the set. Lankovic recalled that he determined the saturation point of Iggy Azalea's fancy by asking his daughter. I said, "Are they talking about Iggy Azalea at school?" And she said, "Well, not so much." I asked the same thing 2 weeks later, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's all they're talking about now." Lankovic then traveled from Los Angeles to Denver, Colorado in early June 2014 to ask Azalea permission to parody her song. He noted that meeting a spoof target in person is not his usual method for obtaining permission, but was necessary in this instance to meet the album deadline. The encounter was described by TMZ as an ambush, as Lankovic presented the potential parody lyrics to Azalea backstage at one of her concerts. He later clarified that the meeting was much more polite and blown out of proportion by TMZ. Lankovic recorded the Azalea parody, Handy, that same month, and announced that the album mastering process was complete on June 12th. Composition. Mandatory Fun consists of 12 tracks, 5 of which are parodies of songs popular at the time of the album's production. The opening, Iggy Azalea, parody of Fancy is Handy, performed from the point of view of a person described by Kenneth Patridge of Billboard as the world's most braggadocious contractor. The character portrayed in the song rhymes about various handyman tasks, including installing countertops, tile floors, and repairing leaf blowers. Kevin O'Keefe of The Wire noted that the only direct connection between the character and Azalea is the line, "I got 99 problems, but a switch ain't one," which refers to Azalea's appearance in the song Problem. The Southern culture on the skid's pastiche, Lame Claim to Fame, examines celebrity-obsessed culture. It features frequent name drops, as the singer brags about having tangential associations with popular people. Foil is a parody of the Lord's song Royals and focuses on 2 cases of aluminum foil use. The first verse deals with food being preserved with the material, while the second verse describes the foil being used by conspiracy theorists as a protective hat. O'Keefe observed that it is the shortest parody on Mandatory Fun, as it omits the bridge and final chorus of the original song. The original composition, sports song, imagines a college marching band directly insulting the opposing team with their fight song. Annie Zaleski of the AV Club summarized the track as a passable but not particularly inspired take on rabid fandom. The following Robin Thicke parody, World Proms, involves the singer pointing out common grammatical errors and shaming people who engage in various other common textual misconceptions. My Own Eyes is a style parody of the Foo Fighters, in which the protagonist recalls witnessing unusual events throughout his life, such as elderly men dying of fever, and a mime hacked to death with an imaginary clever. Partridge felt that the pastiche falls flat without Dave Grohl's songwriting and personality. Now that's what I call polka, is Lankovic's 12th polka medley, in which Lankovic sings selections of various popular songs at the time of recording. Set to a polka music, the title is a parody of the long-running series and compilation albums released by EMI. Now that's what I call music. The song mission statement emulates the style of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, with the lyrics citing a series of corporate buzzwords and executive jargon. Lankovic considered it ironic to juxtapose that with the song stylings of CSN, whose music pretty much symbolizes the antithesis of corporate America. Rolling Stone noted that the song imitates the band's layered harmonies used in Carry On and Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. Inactive is a spoof of the Imagine Dragons song Radioactive that centers on an extremely lethargic character covered in food residue. O'Keefe remarked upon the breathing sounds of the original song being recontextualized in the parody, as the character mentioned that he requires an inhaler. The Pixies' pastiche, First World Problems, lampoons people who complain of various first world problems, such as the lack of gluten-free cookies in the airport's lounge. The song features off-kilter guitars in the Black Francis O'Scoop song which see vocal delivery with stylistic references to the Pixie song, The Bazzer and Hang Wire. The stand-up of Pharrell Williams' Happy is the song Tacky, in which the singer boasts of having no shame and making unfashionable of tactless short choices. Reviews noted that the song lists various disruptive acts associated with social media, referencing Instagram, Twitter, and Yelp. Following Lankovic's tradition of recording long-form songs such as Albuquerque, Genius in France, and Trapped in the Drive-Thru, he concludes the album with a 9-minute-plus track called Jackson Park Express. The song is in the style of Cat Stevens and can be described as an in-depth vignette about a bus ride length romance that's really a fragment of the protagonist's imagination. Another review detailed that the piece is a conversation between two bus passengers involving topics such as relationships, deodorant, and wearing the skin of another person. The protagonist insists that the latter is not in a creepy way. Comedy website Chortle opined that Jackson Park Express is the best song on the album, and then really the funniest one he's ever written. Packaging. The cover art and title of the album was first confirmed via the RCA Records website. Regarding the title of the album, Lankovic commented that was just an oxymoron that I've always been amused by. It's used a lot in corporate retreats, and, I'm told, in the military. Lankovic also acknowledged that the name is speculated to be a reference to the album marking the end of his 32-year-long label contract. The artwork is designed to resemble an agglomeration of Soviet and Chinese propaganda, and Lankovic is described by Rolling Stone as wearing a Russian military costume over a font resembling Soviet tanks. Communist propaganda is often drawn in shades of red, features people marching, and is supported in the background by an image of a leader. Lankovic stated that the cover image was photographed as early as August 2013. Lankovic said the cover art was a play on the name Mandatory Fun. Promotion. See also the Mandatory World Tour. Before the album was complete and the release date was set, Lankovic had already booked promotional appearances that coincidentally fell around the album's time of release. This included an appearance on the YouTube series Epic Rap Battles of History, where he dressed as Isaac Newton, and the Comedy Central series Drunk History, where he played Adolf Hitler. Lankovic started hinting at the release of Mandatory Fun using social media. In mid-June 2014, on June 14th, he posted a self-described cryptic image of himself with the message July 15th, which Rolling Stone specified as being the album release date. Lankovic used a series of short trailers to tease the album, using stock footage of historical communism and military propaganda films, interspersed with imagery from the album cover art. He later observed that his portrayal of Hitler on Drunk History fit the television theme of the Mandatory Fun artwork. The totalitarian theme of the Mandatory Fun artwork. Lankovic announced that there would be no pre-album single for Mandatory Fun, and instead he would let the listeners decide which songs are the hits. He also revealed that he would participate in a Reddit Ask Me Anything session on the day of the album release. Yankovic explained that the pre-release campaign deliberately withheld song information since he felt it has become more difficult to establish a unique take on the parody in the age of YouTube content creation. He later made an appearance on the Hulu sitcom The Hot Wives of Orlando that coincided with the monetary fund launch. After the album was released, he elaborated that putting out singles was technically unnecessary since customers can buy the songs individually from digital vendors. Yankovic made a commitment not to tour for an entire year during 2014, instead using mandatory fund to tour with a vengeance in 2015. The Mandatory World Tour was announced in January 2015 and covered venues in the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand throughout 2015, starting that May. Yankovic continued this tour in 2016, primarily across North America. Bye for now! Bye for now!